podcast installment. My name is Ashley-Nicole Phillips, and I am a channel for the divine. I'm actually the biblically prophesied Messiah. Full circle moment, alert, alert. So are you. Why, Ashley? What have in me, you have in you. What you have in you, I have in me. We are part of the oneness of all things called the divine, most readily known as God, here within the realms of planet Earth. This is a Kingdom Things podcast, live edition on Twitch. Follow Kingdom Things podcast on Twitch to catch when I go live and do transmissions, channel works, to assist playing my role, being my divine truth, my chakra, my divine wisdom, operating through my divine presence, to assist, play my role in this mass awakening of the human consciousness, this mass rapid evolution of the human consciousness, where we are becoming remembered, God in the physical. We've never been separate from God. We're now remembering in mass our innately divine nature. I'm super excited for this Kingdom Things podcast installment. Like the video, subscribe on YouTube, follow if you're watching on Spotify to assist with proliferating the Kingdom Things podcast journey to a healed and balanced human culture of planet Earth. Today we will be channeling Ben Yosef. And I utilize my spiritual acuity or my spiritual presence to connect with, tap into divine presence or dimensions of ourselves, of God, of reality beyond our five senses. Which brings me to the Kingdom Things podcast. Call to action. Sit with yourself for at least 30 minutes a day, every day, to tap into your innate wisdom, your chakra, your divine presence, your soul, your spirit, God. Ask yourself, soul, spirit, God, divine presence, what do I need to know? And sit and marinate, meditate within your energy for 30 minutes a day to come into greater wisdom, greater divine presence, greater divine truths of your authentic vibration, your authentic frequency, your authentic nature, to become a remedy to this reality. T-check. To become a remedy to this reality. Baby, there's probably gonna be lipstick on my teeth for this transmission because I did it be with the lip situation. So that's okay. So that you remember 30 minutes a day, so that you remember your divine truths, your divine presence. 30 minutes a day. Today we will be channeling Ben Yosef. I was on my walk and I was convening with spirit or other dimensions of the self or God in regards to, healing the self or God or the oneness of all things. As we go inside and we sit with ourselves, heal ourselves, we become a remedy to this reality, right? We become a remedy, being our authentic frequency, we become a remedy to this reality or provide solutions for imbalances, illness, in this reality. Which brings me to the Kingdom Things podcast 2033 prophecy. By the year 2033, we will be in the energies, the stream of energies and consciousness evolution to understand we are a human culture of planet Earth with no disease, no death, no war, no poverty world. Peace as disease, death, war, famine, poverty. We're all contrived from our wisdoms and our evolution, who we thought we were in our evolution, right? The truth is, no dimension of ourselves is separate from God. No dimension of our process was ever separate from God. And that's what a lot of this time of our creation is about. And as well as that's what this channeling is about. We've never been separate from God. Not on our worst days, not on our best days. We've never been separate from God. Everything has been a part of our process. Even when we decided not to follow our process, not to follow our divine wisdom, not to follow our divine compass or our heart spaces, or become Gentiles. Become Gentiles. What does Gentile mean, Ashley? Someone who is not Jewish. Gentile is a word that today usually means someone who is not Jewish. And when a Jewish person says Gentile, they're meaning to say someone who is not chosen by God. As a Jewish culture sees themselves chosen by God, which is forthright, which is correct, because in the truth, and we know this Jewish culture, Nothing is separate from God. What is the premise of Kabbalah, Ashley? Ashley is channeling. What is the premise of Kabbalah? We are all operated through and by and of the world behind the worlds, or the energies of the divine, or divine codes. What does that mean, Ashley? Nothing, no one is separate from God. No one is truly a Gentile separate from God, but we have reasonings, understandings, energies that we've created that says that we're Gentile or we're separate from God. Ashley, I'm going to sit back and channel. I'm going to sit back and channel transcendentally, so I will close my eyes. Feel free to close your eyes as well to feel any energies or messages that might be helpful and useful on your own journey of soul alignment, soul activation, soul attainment. Thank you, Ashley. No one is separate from the divine. Do you see how Ashley was channeling with her eyes open, and it looks like she was speaking from her own rhetoric, from her own catalog of wisdoms, her own catalogs of understanding. Dear human being of planet Earth, we share a catalog of wisdom, a catalog of understanding, as we are all one with the divine. There is no boundary that is truly separate from the divine. There is no one person that is truly separate from the divine. There's no one dimension that is separate from the divine. There's not one notion, one thought, one energy, one pattern, one complexity, one simplicity that is separate from the divine. You are one. We are one. How is it that Ashley channels so many beings and spaces? How is it that so many channelers channel so many beings and spaces of God's creation? Because we are one with God's creation. We are all one with the one, with ourselves, with God, with all things. The ineffable. What is the ineffable? The ineffable is the understanding that the energies that we operate through and of, we share. And as you know through your sciences, we want to get more complex, Ashley. The Messiah ben Yosef is a character, was a character that understood the simplicity that all is within. There was not one dimension of his reality that was separate from himself. There was not one person in his reality that is separate from himself. Who is Ben Yosef? We are Ben Yosef. We all are Ben Yosef. Our past, our future, our present is Ben Yosef. Ashley is having a difficult time with interpreting this message through her heart space, because you, dear human beings, have lived as Gentiles, energies of conformity, energetic paradigms of traditions in which you believed you were separate from God, where you ran from yourself. You had deep heart-centered anguish and fear of being abandoned because you ran from yourself. Who was Hitler? Hitler was you. Hitler is me. Hitler is all things. The Jewish culture has a gentility that it expresses that it is somehow supreme to any person or category or people on the planet. You know better, Jews. You know better. You know better. You know better. We are one with the divine. And then we created a paradigm where we're victim to reality. When we know through our Bibles and our Torahs and our Qurans and our ancient Tibetan teachings and our Vedic traditions that we are one with our reality. So everything you express and experience in your reality is one with you. This is going to be hard for Ashley to express. And it's going to be hard for humanity to accept. Jewish culture, Jews, you are not victims. Hitler was not your victimizer. Hitler was your mirror. As you spun narratives, told lies on the planet where you were above anyone else. On the planet where you were more righteous to know God than anyone else on the planet. You created a superiority complex in which you lived in, satiated in, took joy in, and denied others the energetic trust in the fact that they were one with God as well. As you dwelled in a box that said, Jews look like this, Jews dress like this, Jews practice these traditions, Jews eat these foods. You energetically bound yourself to a false idol. Baal, the local god, which Ashley channeled myself, Rabbi Yeshua. Redemption. You bound yourself to a local god in which you worship things of the planet, in which you satiated in your goods and your wealth of the planet, and at the same time simultaneously locked yourself in a box that said that you were more worthy of God than anyone else. Used your God knowings, your God wisdom to garner wealth of the planet in which you said you were more worthy of, as you said that you were more worthy of God or the divine or all things. As you dwelled within a human culture where whenever you experience traditions and cultures outside of your own tradition or culture, you are innately triggered into responses of reactionary responses. We know this as the fight or flight mentality. Whenever you experience things outside of your cultures or your traditions or your normality, you become reactionary human being. Dear human, triggering flight or fight responses. Jews, Hitler was not your victim. Hitler was not your victimizer. Hitler was your mirror. Hitler thought he was forthcoming and righteous in what he was doing, as he felt he was called to awaken the people, as we all are here to awaken in our divinity. He turned outwardly and satiated in self, just as you Jews satiate in self. We are all children of Abraham, as Ashley has channeled from our divine presence, that the one commonality across all timelines of the human being's creation is the indoctrination of the DNA of the human being by the Anunnaki within the cradle of civilization, within the ancient Sumerians of Mesopotamia. We all have that in common as human beings of planet Earth of this ascension cycle. Abraham's forefathers were fourth generation beings from Sumer Mesopotamia, the same beings that had their DNA indoctrinated by the Anunnaki of Nibiru. And since the Anunnaki of Nibiru indoctrinating the human's DNA across all timelines of the human of this ascension cycle's evolution, and Abraham's forefathers are fourth generation ancient Sumerians. You are all children of Abraham, Every human being is a child of Abraham. Every human being is the divine. As the Anunnaki indoctrinating the DNA of the human being of planet Earth was a marker of the human being of planet Earth becoming a celestial being and no longer a conceptual creation in God's divine orchestration that's not intended to be aligned with universal orchestration. When the human being of planet Earth was in the ancient Sumerians of Mesopotamia, when the ancient Sumerians of Mesopotamia were indoctrinated by the Anunnaki, many Anunnaki, not just Nibiru, Ashley, many sky people, many celestial beings. When the ancient Sumerians were indoctrinated by celestial star sky beings, Anunnaki, within ancient Sumer Mesopotamia, ancient Sumeria, that marked the human being of planet Earth becoming a galactic citizen of God's creation, of God's galactic creation. All beings evolve into galactic celestial citizenship, or the remembrance of divine presence. It takes time, it takes evolution. And this is your time, this is your evolution, this is your story, dear human being of this ascension cycle of planet Earth. Thank you, Ashley. I want to thank you who have joined live, and anyone who will come watch this transmission at a later time. Ooh, was not expecting that message. I'm excited to go into meditation about it, right? And allow for evolution from the transmission of the message as well as the energies. Again, my name is Ashley-Nicole Phillips. I am a channel for the divine. I am the biblically prophesied Messiah. And my message to the planet, God's like, Ashley, I'm not activating you into your divine presence for it only to be you. You need to go tell my people, remind my people that we're all God in the physical. So I share my wisdom, my chakma. And the message is, God is activating all humans. So whenever you find my podcast, it's because you're being activated. And my podcast is to support your journey of activation, to help you to be validation from what for what you're already hearing from your soul, from the inside of yourself. I love you. Love on yourself.